But I think what we should worry about is not just a small donor program, but a small group of donors or supporters who can spread the message for you and build a small donor program on your behalf. And I think ignoring that opportunity is a real risk because they are representing, freedom. They identify with you. They're not going to change their minds every grant cycle. They're not going to change their foundation priorities. They're not, they're with you. And they, all the studies on trust and all of that tell us that, it's you believe in what your friends believe in, that motivation to, again, belong and understand what your people understand. And if they care about it passionately, you might too. And, this gets us back to the principles of organizing and Marshall Gans and, all these incredible structures that he's put out into the world and that were on display, obviously, in the 2008 Obama campaign. But this snowflake model of organizing is exactly what I'm describing here in really not ignoring how critical it is to equip a small group of people to build a small group of their people who support you, one of whom might be inspired to build a small group of people who support you, and allow it to grow and scale and build its own momentum until that's covering your budget and everything else is a cherry on top. I really think we sometimes make that totally logical calculus, foundation grants and big dollar donors versus small dollar, and we turn away from the small dollar donor program. And again, I think that makes sense if you're collecting one-time $20 contributions, but I really don't think it makes sense to turn away from that, snowflake model that has this capacity to buoy your mission today and what it will be in 15 years, so that is something that I think is worth leaning into and experimenting around. To your point, you will make mistakes completely. But if that's what's at stake, it's harder to run away, and you feel more committed to figuring out how to make it work. And I think the chaos versus control bit, which is what you had asked about originally, comes into play because you don't start with a whole snowflake. You just start with the center, right? Which are a few folks. That's all you need to start, who really believe in you. And you get to experiment with just them on the chaos and control part. So I would think about it like that. Just experiment with just them. So the risk isn't very high, right? Give them tools that they're telling you that they need to represent your organization well. Do education and training with that small group about how you talk about it. Pitch back and forth to each other a little bit. Give them a program to go out and tell their community about. It doesn't have to be just fundraising. Donors have higher lifetime values if they also, for you and your organization, if they also volunteer or come to events.